Now, as we start topic 8 of chapter 1, I wrote out a few of the rules as a little review, that if we have A plus B, that equals B plus A. We have just switched around the order in addition. If we have A times B, and then B times A, again, we've just switched around the order. This is the commutative principle. The top one is of addition. This one is of multiplication. Now in this next one, as we look at it, we see A plus B plus C equals A plus B plus C. These are actually the same. But what I'm going to do here now is take these two and put a parenthesis around these. Didn't do that too well. And now I'm going to put the parentheses around these two. So what does that mean? Well, it says because of the parentheses, we're going to add B and C first, then add the A. While here, we're going to add the A and B first, then the C. And these are equal, and this is referred to as the associative property, as we associate things through grouping symbols. And then here, we're going to multiply BC first, then multiply it by A. And here we're going to multiply AB first, and then multiply it by C. So this is associative of addition, associative of multiplication. So this is just some background. We talked about this in our other lesson, but now you're going to apply it. So here they want us to use the commutative property to rewrite. Well, we're just going to switch things around. We're going to say A now times a -4. And then here we're just going to switch them around. We're going to go Y first plus 4. So these are sort of easy, and what they mean to do is to tell you that it's okay to do that. It's legal. Now for the associative property here we have X, Y. Well, then we're going to do associate Y, Z. So instead of multiplying these two first, we would multiply these two. But the results are the same. That's what this provides. And for this one, we're going to go 3x plus y. Group those first, and then add the 4. Now here we're going to use the commutative and associative principles to simplify each expression. And again, what they're saying, it's legal to do this. So I'm going to take the 5, move it over here, and add then 12 plus 5 is 17, and then our plus x. So that's perfectly legal to do. And then we're going to put these two together. And notice they are sort of the reciprocal, although this one has a negative sign. So this is going to be a -1 when we do this multiplication, and then r. And again, we don't write the 1, so this is just going to be -r. Now, we didn't illustrate the distributive principle, so let me do that over here. It's A and then B plus C, like so. And then we distribute this, and it becomes AB plus AC. Now, that's what they want you to do here, but I'm not going to write all that out. So just to do it regularly, I'll distribute. This will be 6x minus 14. And this will be a negative 5x plus 20. And this is going to be a negative times a positive, which will give me a negative, and then 10 divided by 2 is 5, plus, watching the signs, 8c. And here we're going to distribute a negative 4x, a negative 12, and a negative 14. And notice now we have like terms here, so we can add that. That becomes a negative 4x and a negative 26. Now, as we use the distributive property up here, I'd like to point out something before we go on, and that is this 2 times what's in there. These are like factors that produce a product. Now, if we have this product and we want to make it into factors, can you see we can take a 2 out of each of these and get back to where we were? So this is what they're doing down here in number 11, that we're going to reverse the distributive property and take a common what out of each of these terms? Yes, a common 3. And then we get x minus y. A little later in the course, we're going to do a lot of that. And these are called, or the process is called factoring. So the opposite of the distributive property is factoring. Okay, jumping down to these, we're asked to find the additive inverse or opposite. It's what, if we add something to this, would make it a 0. And usually it's just the opposite sign. So it'll be a negative 2/7. Now this comes out as a 5 here, out of the absolute signs, and then a negative 5. So what's the additive inverse of a negative 5? Would be a positive 5. Oh, I see the clock is catching up, 8 minutes. So the reciprocal of a number is a number you multiply it by so that the product is 1. So we usually just flip the number using the same sign. Now here we had to go from a mixed number to an improper fraction. Then once we have the fraction, we could figure out this is the reciprocal. And here we're to name the properties. And again, practice. I don't know if I mentioned to you earlier that a good technique is to write these out on a little index card, the various properties. And then, as you use that as a reference, and then there'll be a time you won't have to look at the card anymore. So here, multiplying anything by 1 doesn't change its value. This is the multiplicative identity. Now, if we were adding a 0 to something, that's the addition identity, that we can add 0 to anything without changing its value. But we can multiply anything by 1 and not change its value. And here we have the 0 product property. That is, anytime you multiply something by 0, it ends up being 0. And here we just did this. This is the associative property of multiplication. This one is of addition. And this is another way to show that you're taking this 1/3 and multiplying it by each one. Okay, There's our 10 minutes, and we'll wrap this up.